Pretty in plants. I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be an extra show this week because my watering video for Semihydro, people wanted me to water a plant, and I explained my watering system, but I didn't water a plant in that video. So I want to go ahead and quickly water two very, very dry plants. Tray, all I use is purified water. If you have a Brita, I think my definition of purified water is water you would drink. So if you would not drink your city water, don't give it to your plants. So use a Brita. I have a reverse osmosis system in my house. So mine is RO water. And then this is half a gallon. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take Foliage Pro and I'm going to add half a teaspoon to, oh, it's kind of a new one. Half a teaspoon to my, and I already know that this is what half a teaspoon is in here. There we go. So this is half a teaspoon and I'm just gonna stir it. And that's really all you have to do. That's all I do. Now I let it get to a little sunburned. This is my jungle boogie. This is plant number 1. He is beautiful. I love this plant. And I wanted to show you really quickly, he's so desperate for water. He's so dry that he's reaching. There's a little water root. Poor guy. It's just dry as a bone in there. So this plant still has quite a bit of dirt on it. I need to take it out. I need to clean the roots. I need to take the dirt off. Am I going to do this today? No, I am not. So let me go ahead and water. And I like to bottom water, but this guy is so dry. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of go down the side of the plant until my little paparoo pops up. Now, I don't always let the paparoo tell me if the plant is in transition. I'm a little more in control, but there we go. There's my paparoo. It came about halfway up, and I'll give you a little bit of a close-up. And there's the paparoo. So that pot's from Easy Grow Hydro online, and has a little paparoo for you. I am a verified plant killer. I feel more confident if I have paparoos. Okay, so plant number 2 is giant, and I actually thought it had a root rot issue. I'm gonna show you demonstration number 2. Let's see if you can see it. So this plant is a Regal Shields. And right here, I don't know if you can see, it got flowers. It's actually flowered. It got 2 flowers. The leaves are so large. There's one of the leaves. This is one of my pride and joy plants. I absolutely am super protective, careful, loving. You know, I don't want it to root rot. We're all afraid of that. And so when the flower, the second flower kind of got gray looking, I was like, ah, root rot. So I took its water out, I dumped it in the front yard, I put a fan on it, a rotating fan, day and night, and then I was like, I need to look at the roots and see what's going on. And there was no root rot. In fact, the roots were really dry again. And the only thing I could think of when I pulled it out, it still had quite a bit of dirt in its roots. And sometimes that dirt will hold water to the root and just kind of confuse the whole, are you in semihydro or are you in dirt issue? So I went and had cleaned out the dirt, had this gorgeous like root ball, cut off bad leaves. Always cut off bad leaves because then the energy of the plant can go into the good leaves. So I cut off the bad leaves and it gave me a little surprise. Ah, this is a Regal Shields, an Alocasia Regal Shields. Alocasias, you cannot cut a stem off and put them in water. You can only propagate through these little it's not even propagation. It gives you bulbs in its roots, and you're gonna have to grow that bulb. And I wanna show, look at my baby. Okay, so now the other thing about alocasias is I have some very bad animals, and they break things like plant leaves. A break that I did not cut the leaf off. And alocasias make their own band-aids. So it's kind of healed itself a little bit and it's growing funny, but it kept the leaf. Now I have a paparoo on this one. This is a giant plant, and the reason it stands up nice and tall in my LECA is because it's not LECA. It's actually clay pebbles that are odd shaped. And I'm gonna go ahead and water. Can you see me watering? All I'm gonna give it. I'm finding that if you err on the side of too dry, there's a chance. Well, if you err on the side of too wet, there's a chance too. Guys, I don't even know if I'm saving them. I think they were just not wanting the roots to be in semi-hydro because they immediately start pushing out new roots, especially if you do the foliar spray with SuperThrive. They'll just push out new roots, as long as you keep the atmosphere to their liking. Now, here's a plant. This one doesn't have a pop-up, and it's not clear. I'm gonna show you one more plant. This one though has a hole. So what I do to check the water on this one, if I'm not sure. Now, a lot of times on the LECA, it's a little bit darker color on the top when it's damp underneath. The color hue is darker. I can't tell if it needs to be watered. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip it forward and see if there's any water in the bottom. And I don't know if y'all could see that in the camera, but water is coming out of the hole, which means there's water in the bottom. Don't touch it, sister. Let it relax. Okay, here's another example. Now, this plant is in a solid pot, and what I did with this one is I planted it in a clear net pot. And I wanted to show you those water roots. It is reaching down to the water, which is my joy and delight, because I can now go on vacation. Rattlesnake calathea, I think. But I don't know if you could see it. I got it as a baby. It was less than $10. A lot of my plants that were less than $10 end up being my favorite plants doing this. And as you keep working with semi-hydro and putting your plants in semi-hydro, your confidence will build. But I wanted to show you this. Okay, so let's pretend it didn't have water roots, and we're at the beginning of this journey. When I see these pebbles wet against this side and it's a clear thing, I don't water. If I see the pebbles pushing against the side and it's a clear jar, clear vase, clear net pot, and I see that wetness, that means there's still wet in there and I don't need to do much. But you can see all of the healthy roots in there. They're growing out the bottom. They love it. And so I'm not gonna disturb this too much. Now, if the leaves are getting, kind of need to clean it up a little bit. If the leaves and start looking stressed at all, my next watering will be purified water and no nutrients. Every couple months, I like to just do no nutrients watering, just to give it a little break and kind of clean out the LECA. But this one's happy, so we're just gonna keep going with it. Okay, I'm gonna do, this was gonna be short, but I'm gonna do another example. So this is a moonshine sansevieria, and this is what I call a dry root plant, although I'm kind of changing my mind about dry root plants. I'm starting to feel like, and pardon the appearance, any of this was not my fault. I got it from the nursery like that, and I wanted one so badly I didn't care. So it's getting some nice new growth. Now this is a plant, a cautious plant, where I'm really drying it out thoroughly. Oh, before I go on, big shout out to Small in London in the UK. I will link her YouTube down below. She's doing everything semi-hydroponics or passive hydroponics as well. She had an interesting comment on her channel that her plants never dry out because it's cold and humid there. So I am in Texas, and then I got a lot of my watering help and information from Jerry, who sells the hydroponic planters. He is in Florida. So both of us have similar temperatures, and the wet dry cycle, I don't know how to do it any other way. Okay, so this one is super dry. Now another thing you can do to see if it's dry is put your hand on the bottom. This one's so dry that it feels like desert on the bottom, because I can't see very much in this pot, but I can see the LECA is just bone dry. It has like a dry look to it, a deserty look. So what I'm gonna do with this one, now this one has the little, I think it has a doodad, a little pop-up, but I'm not gonna do the pop-up. I'm just going to water it. I'm gonna trick it and water it from the bottom. Now, if you have a dry root plant, they do wanna be watered thoroughly, but not after that point, just not sitting in water for long periods of time. This one, I'm going to put a little note to myself, or just remember, sometimes you need to put notes to yourselves or put it on your iCal, a reminder to check it. I'm gonna check it in 4 days and make sure it's licked up a lot of the water. Let me see. Actually, I'm gonna do a little bit more water. So the kind of cool thing about Sansevierias, I have one that adapted to semi-hydro so quickly. It is growing 2 new babies. It was a whalefin Sansevieria. It adapted in like a week and a half. And a lot of times you can tell if it's adapted. Of course, Small likes to just take them out of the pebbles. I'm a little like slower to do that. I like to see if there's little roots coming out. This one doesn't have the roots yet. It's only been in here about a month, but I need to give it a chance. So I'm gonna give it, yeah, about a fingertip of water. I don't know if you can see. So I hope this helped y'all. This is watering part 2. So if you missed Monday, I'm doing giveaway. It will be a quick giveaway. I announced it Monday. Go back to that video. And then I will be doing the drawing before Thanksgiving. And I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks so much for coming and subscribing and liking and commenting. And we'll see you next time.